Helluva Boss Season 2, Episode 6, Oops, is directed by Vivian Medrano. In this episode, we follow Fitzgerald and his life with his partner, and everything seems to be all well and dandy for them, until Fitzgerald decides to go out by himself with no protection, don't take that out of context, and comes across Blitz on the street. They bicker with one another until they get captured by Stryker, and the bad guys are threatening Fitzgerald's partner to give them important information, and if they don't, they die. And it's gangster stuff that Moxie's dad wants to do, and it's kind of a bad idea to threaten one of the 7 deadly sins of hell, but I digress. So Fitzgerald and Blitz try to escape, and they try to rekindle some sort of relationship that they once had before they started to become enemies. Now, I have enjoyed so far every episode of this season, but clearly this is a less focused season than Season 1. But Season 1 had a bit more focus. The episodes were a lot funnier and much tighter. Whereas here, there are some good episodes here, but a lot of the good moments in some of the weaker episodes just don't always outweigh the bad. But still, I like this season. It never has been able to reach the highs of the previous one. But see, this episode is genuinely incredible, guys. I mean it. It surprised me so much on how good it is and how well the plot was constructed, how well the characters were written, and just how vibrant and colorful the animation is always. Like, the one thing that's always consistent with every episode is that the animation gets better and better as the seasons or episodes go on. And this episode is no exception. The animation here is stunning. There are a few key moments though where some of the background characters look a little stiff, but other than that, I think the animation here is really good. And honestly, it just amazes me that this is independent production. Like, this is better than most Hollywood 2D animation shows I've seen. It's incredible. The humor is really good because the episode is very long and the pacing is a lot more consistent this time around, and it takes time to tell a story. Whenever there is a joke, it never felt like it took away from a serious moment. Vivian Medrano knows when to place a lot of these jokes, whether to break the tension or to give a bit of a payoff to a certain scene, or just for the sake of it. I think all the jokes, at least most of them actually, worked very well and are in line with what the characters would do in the physical humor and comedy, and a lot of the more violent humor and sexual humor are all really funny. Maybe the dick jokes could have been taken it back just a tiny bit, but that's a small nitpick. Again, all the humor in this episode worked very well. But what I was really impressed was how the episode was able to handle a relationship between Fitzgerald and Blitz. While I will say it is a little bit hard to wrap your head around the fact that just in the span of maybe an hour, given how long in universe this entire episode took, or maybe a little more, it's a little unrealistic for them to just rekindle literally everything within one episode. That said, the episode was still long enough and well paced enough for you to understand how they're able to rekindle their relationship. The dialogue felt a lot more natural than I think it is given credit for in some reviews I've seen. I think the characters and the way they are acted were very good, and the way that everything was able to wrap up by the end character-wise, I felt leaves a lot to be interested about in future episodes as to what else might have happened in the past and how these two characters will act toward each other in the future is going to be very interesting to see, because the relationship between Fitzgerald and Blitz is basically the heart and soul of this episode. These two characters who hate each other are trying to discover what really happened that night, while also trying to escape this these bad guys that have captured them. And I think this episode worked very well in that regard, as we get a lot of great character moments in which these guys are just talking about their past, and we learn a whole lot about them that we haven't really discovered or we may have theorized before. And it's really good to get some sort of closure with these characters. Now, the fact that this is a mid-season episode and it is one of the longest episodes tell me that this episode is going to have a lot of significance in the future, especially with these two characters. So how Fitzgerald is going to play another part in the next episode he's featured in is going to be very interesting to see. I just like that this episode was able to take an antagonist from something before, but actually change things up with him, do something creative and new to develop his character even further. And I also really enjoyed how the episode brings back old villains like Moxie's dad and Stryker and have them play even bigger parts in this episode while still maintaining their threatening presence. Because the one thing that this series is good at is introducing these characters as forces of nature to be reckoned with. And I felt like this episode was able to portray these characters in the exact same light in which we were introduced to them in the first place. And it just made them so much more entertaining and threatening to watch. And you do feel like whenever these characters are on screen, that our heroes are in danger. Overall, I really loved this episode. I thought it was well animated. I thought the drama and characterization was stellar, well paced, and I think the runtime of the episode was able to suffice for that. The music is on point like always. I love Fitzgerald's song in the middle of the episode. It is really catchy and fun to listen to. The side plot with one of the 7 deadly sins of hell and Stolas is not as interesting, as they are literally trying to fill up some paperwork in order to try and find Fitzgerald. But I think it still worked as a nice little side joke and a bit of a breather from what is going on with the main plot. Overall, this episode was absolutely fantastic, and I would highly recommend. This is one of the best episodes in not just Season 2, it's probably my favorite episode of Season 2. I think it's one of the best overall Helluva Boss episodes. I think if you are a fan of this show, you're going to really dig this one. I would highly recommend. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you guys next time.